Ibrahim Traoré, president of Burkina Faso, held a meeting with the orphans and widows of soldiers who lost their lives in the fight against terrorism. This gathering underscored his deep commitment to supporting the families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice for the nation's security. The head of state reaffirmed his dedication to helping them rebuild their lives and thrive. President Traoré pledged financial assistance to widows who wish to start their own businesses, as well as to those who are already business owners. Additionally, for widows with degrees and the necessary qualifications, the government has set aside employment opportunities in public service, new manufacturing facilities, and other industries. Even greater initiatives are being planned for the orphans, who listened attentively as he addressed their concerns and responded to their questions. His words offered hope and reassurance. I deeply appreciate the overwhelming turnout at this seminar for widows and orphans, the first of its kind since the rise of terrorism. I am very happy to be here tonight, not just to hear your concerns, but to provide swift solutions to improve the economic conditions of the wives and children of our fallen comrades, those who paid the ultimate price with their lives.
C'est une guerre qui nous est imposée.
This war was forced upon us. We do not fight because we desire to. We fight because we have no other choice. And while we continue to lead the battle on the ground, avenging those who have fallen, we can never truly understand the pain you endure. Since 2015, so many of you have suffered immeasurable loss, yet you remain the unseen heroes. Only God knows the full extent of your struggles. When we are not at home, we know that women continue to face hardships, and children bear a tremendous burden. It is painful, but one thing is certain. We are doing everything we can for our homeland, including finding ways to take care of you. That is the very purpose of this gathering, to seek solutions that address your needs. We must acknowledge that we have been fighting this battle for 10 years. Since the first instances of terrorism emerged in Burkina Faso in 2015, we have endured countless challenges. In 2023, I called for the creation of a clear and organized database to track the treatment of our injured soldiers following their hospital visits. Through that initiative, we realized the urgent need for a comprehensive record of our wounded and fallen heroes. Last year, I personally met with our injured soldiers, and those discussions helped us identify several solutions. However, we still lacked a reliable and complete list of the fallen one that includes widows and orphans. Without accurate records, we cannot provide proper assistance. That is why we have worked tirelessly to develop a program that allows for easy registration. I have been informed that the application is now ready and will be launched within the next few hours or days. Every mechanism will be put in place to assist those who cannot register themselves, ensuring that everyone in need is accounted for. Once we have a complete and accurate list of all those who have sacrificed for the homeland, we will be able to provide effective and sustained support to their families. To achieve this, we have already taken several concrete steps. We created the Agency for Support of Victims because, in order to truly help our injured widows and orphans, we need a specialized institution dedicated to their needs. Because there are many services, I know that many of you are often bothered by the multitude of associations or organizations that continue to call you left and right for various matters. We want to standardize all this data, which is why ASBOVIG was created. I believe you, through your representatives at ASBOVIG, will contribute to managing and organizing a significant amount of this information. I am already pleased with the first step that has been taken, the idea of creating a federation that will unite all widows in Burkina Faso. That alone is a major achievement. With a well-structured database, it will be much easier to act in your favor. Now, returning to the points raised here, Particularly regarding women's empowerment, as you mentioned, we must move in that direction. Every woman should have the means to provide for her family, because that is the foundation of what we are trying to achieve. It is essential. Otherwise, how will we educate the children? How will we take care of them? In this regard, you have suggested several measures that can be considered, and we will evaluate them. We will also examine opportunities for those who have attended vocational schools or obtained academic diplomas. The Ministry of Public Service is already looking into quota issues and training centers that we have initiated on a small scale, although not yet on a national level. Again, having a complete and accurate list will give us a clear overview of the situation. Some women live in major cities, while others are in rural areas. Through these lists, we can determine how many women come from Goron, how many from Nyangoloko, how many from Nauna, and so on. This data will help us decide where to establish specific training and support centers based on geographic needs. From now on, based on what you have shared, I can assure you that we are committed to integrating you into these programs as we move forward. Whether you have a diploma or not, whether you receive training in tailoring, soap making, catering, or other skills, you will have opportunities. At the government level, we are restructuring many financial support programs. For example, this year, I reviewed the report of a fund that has provided nearly $7 billion in loans. However, I have instructed that these loans be redirected towards strategic objectives. This means you will have access to funding through these structures. The FAR, which many of you are familiar with, is being revitalized to benefit all women. If we have a clear database, we can create special advantages for you to access financial resources. There is also a financial inclusion fund that we recently transformed into an agency, as announced in the Council of Ministers. If you have followed the news, it is now the Agency for the Promotion of Financial Inclusion, and we are working to equip it so that it can better support you. This agency is specifically dedicated to small and micro businesses, especially for women who are starting their own enterprises. It will provide access to the necessary credit for financial independence and employment. Additionally, for those who wish to launch businesses in agriculture or agro-processing, we aim to strengthen the Dunker Fund so that you can apply for support. Once we have a well-structured list, ASBAVIG will coordinate with these funds to facilitate access to financial assistance and oversee the projects you undertake. We do not want to simply train you and leave you on your own. Our goal is to train you, support you in setting up your businesses, and ensure you have the means to sustain and grow them. We are committed to helping you build a stable and prosperous future. When I take, for example, the field of soap production, it's not just about making soap, the challenge often lies in selling it. To address this, we have already taken measures with the Prime Minister to ensure that our administration consumes locally produced goods. Instructions have already been given, or will soon be given, to ensure that through the Federation, we prioritize your products in all procurement processes within Burkina Faso's government offices. Additionally, we are setting up industrial units to strengthen our economy. Several industrial projects are underway to process goods, and as part of our agricultural initiative, the military is also involved in production. The processing of these agricultural products will be entrusted to you, with industrial units established on-site to ensure that you have employment opportunities. These processed goods will then be supplied to the military, ensuring a sustainable economic cycle. We are not worried about this initiative because we have already taken significant steps and developed a clear plan to ensure that you are properly employed and financially secure. All we ask is that you register on the platform so we can have an accurate list, allowing us to support you effectively in your endeavors. Some industrial projects have already started, such as Texforce, the Army's textile industry. I want to inform you that widows will be given priority for jobs at this industrial facility in Bobo Dioulasso, Recruitment for certain positions, particularly those not requiring technical expertise, will prioritize you. These jobs will include roles related to machine handling and other essential tasks. We are taking multiple initiatives to ensure your financial independence. As I have said before, our goal is not simply to integrate people into the public sector. We must shift our mindset away from reliance on government jobs and instead focus on creating wealth through entrepreneurship and industrial development. This approach will provide you with stable, well-paying jobs so that you can support your families with dignity. In response to your request for more training centers, we will use mapping to determine the best locations for them. If we establish training centers without knowing where widows and orphans are most concentrated, we won't be effective. By registering on the platform, we can gather precise data and strategically place these centers where they will have the greatest impact. We are only at the beginning of our industrialization efforts. However, I assure you that many industries will soon be established in Burkina Faso, both by the private and public sectors. We are also working closely with the private sector to ensure that when new businesses are created, you are given priority for employment. Many companies have already adopted this policy. For example, during my visit to the waste treatment industry in Po, I saw that nearly 100% of the women employed there were widows of fallen soldiers. This is a concrete example of how we are integrating widows into the workforce. Regarding the issue of soldier delegations, I have been informed that the process is nearly complete, and I expect it to be resolved in the coming days. Delays have often been due to the lack of a proper list, which is a serious issue. Once this is resolved, things will improve significantly. Without a reliable list, anyone could falsely claim to be the widow of a fallen soldier, which is why we must establish clear verification processes. You yourselves have spoken about conflicts between widows and in-laws, and we understand that these are not easy situations. We have seen such cases firsthand and must take all necessary precautions to ensure that rightful beneficiaries receive the support they deserve. Regarding the harmonization of compensation policies, this is an issue we will address soon with the National Armed Forces and Internal Security Forces. We will work on harmonizing indemnities and determining feasible solutions to ensure fairness. Additionally, the establishment of KAMAPEK, the Fund for Fallen Soldiers' Families, is progressing. These compensation issues will soon be managed through this fund because they have created significant conflicts within families. We have witnessed these challenges on the ground, and I have personally experienced them. I remember losing a soldier, and despite the unit contributing financially to support his widow, she received nothing. It was a shocking realization. We had to contribute again to provide assistance. This experience led me to insist that CAMAPEC should handle these indemnities more effectively. Nobody wants to lose a soldier in battle, but when someone sacrifices their life for the nation, financial support should not just be a one-time payout. Instead of simply handing out money, we must create sustainable solutions that will provide long-term benefits to widows and orphans, ensuring their financial security and stability for years to come. We've already modified the family code. You've seen that we've now legalized customary marriage, so those who don't want to go before the mayor can still have their union recognized. We are just waiting for the assembly to adopt it, so we can move forward. This is part of our culture. We have always gotten married this way. We don't understand why people insisted that we needed a different kind of marriage to be legally recognized. No, we are used to getting married this way. So we decided to modify the family code to ensure that marriages, whether conducted in a church, a mosque, or a traditional ceremony, are recognized by law. This change will allow for a clear legal document that is valid before the courts and even at CAMAPEC. During enrollment, a soldier must be able to declare who his wife, partner, or children are. The registration process will include all these documents so that, In the event of an unexpected situation, there is no confusion. I emphasize Kamapek because we have planned many support initiatives there, including a solidarity fund. We make deductions and enforce mandatory savings, all for the benefit of families. As soldiers, we know that anything can happen at any time, but we want to ensure that if tragedy strikes, our families are not left in a difficult situation. This system will not only apply to the National Armed Forces, but also to all internal security forces. Regarding social housing, there is no problem. We are already discussing solutions, and I have shared my vision on this matter. Many of you already know it. We cannot continue to build isolated social housing as we do now. That is why I have instructed the Minister of Urbanism to transition to an apartment-based system. We need to build upwards and develop apartment complexes. When the state has the capacity, we will determine how to offer special advantages to beneficiaries. As I previously mentioned, even through Kamapek, we want to find ways for soldiers to secure housing and have a safe place to live. If we continue with the current social housing model, small scattered houses with 1 or 2 bedrooms, what will happen when we reach 50 million people? We will run out of land for cultivation because we will have built all over Burkina Faso. There will be no land left, everyone will have their own plot, but we won't be able to sustain agriculture. That's why I have ordered an end to this approach and instructed that we start building upwards. This idea is currently being developed so that construction can begin. Through this new model, we will establish apartments under a social housing system, ensuring that people have a secure place to live. Having a roof over one's head is the most important thing. These are considerations that Aspovich can take into account in due time. We will assess what facilities we can offer, and I have already given instructions at Kamapek to facilitate this process. Regarding indemnity files, we have discussed this issue as well. Even obtaining a death certificate has been a major challenge. We have encountered these difficulties firsthand. As I have mentioned, when a soldier falls in the field, the unit commander cannot just ignore the situation. They must follow up to ensure that the death certificate is issued and that the family receives their rights. I have personally experienced situations where families had to struggle to receive what they were entitled to. Because of this, I have given instructions to the relevant ministers to address these challenges. For example, if someone dies while on detachment in a particular commune, we need to establish a system where certain documents can be processed at the central level, rather than forcing families to travel long distances just to complete paperwork. We have already taken this issue into account, and it is in the process of being resolved. If it is not yet finalized, we will establish a one-stop shop system. This will ensure that if someone needs to process indemnity documents, they do not have to travel multiple times. Instead, they will only need to make 1 or 2 visits to Ouagadougou or Bobo, and the process will be completed. This solution is already being implemented, and in the coming months, we will provide the exact procedure and introduce the one-stop shops that will handle these matters efficiently. I said we're doing it little by little through the Ministry of Justice. You're following it bit by bit. They're studying the files and classifying people on the list of PIAs of the nation. But in addition to all that, many things are planned. It is planned to build boarding schools for the PIAs of the nation to take care of them, and it will be completely free with all the necessary amenities. If they want to board, they can board. For those who don't want to board and prefer to come and go, we will do everything possible to accommodate them. Not only will they be among themselves, but other people will also be able to join. However, the schools will be primarily for the PIAs of the nation. In addition to building the schools, we need to follow up on them and ensure their proper integration. A lot of data has already been collected, and we have a technical roadmap for the PIAs because, no matter what we say, If someone sacrificed themselves for the homeland, we cannot leave their child behind without support. So, many measures have been taken not only to educate them and allow them to go to school in peace, but also to prepare them for employment once they reach adulthood or achieve a certain level of education. The goal is to integrate them into the workforce and provide them with jobs. That has already been planned, and only the first step remains: building the schools for the PIAs of the nation. We have carefully thought this through and found a school model, and construction has already started, bit by bit. While it is unlikely that we will have many schools built by 2025, by 2026, we expect to reach our target number. The first schools for the PIAs of the nation will have the necessary boarding facilities, and they will learn many skills there to become autonomous in due time. Regarding psychosocial care, the Army itself did not have psychologists in the early days. However, psychological support is crucial, so we have recruited many professionals, and we hope to act very soon. On the social aspect, many structures are already working, notably social action services and a number of support services within the Army. Additionally, donations are made from time to time, and we try to support as much as we can. However, we recognize that it is still not enough. We will continue to intensify our efforts, especially by digitizing everything to ensure true efficiency. I know that not all grievances have been mentioned. I am waiting for the final document to review all the concerns and determine the step-by-step implementation process, what can be done urgently and what can be phased in gradually. But one thing is certain: everything will contribute to the well-being of those who are the true heroes. I call you heroes because I always tell the men that we who go to battle are not the real heroes. The real heroes are those who stay behind, spending sleepless nights worrying about everything that could happen. It is you who are the heroes. You take care of the families while we are away. A soldier is never home every day. The intensity of military service makes it impossible. It is not easy. That is why everything has been planned to support you, so that you can care for our children and help them integrate smoothly into society. Rest assured that the purpose of this conference was to find solutions from you, enrich our reflection, and enable you to achieve autonomy. Many members of the government are present, and they will work with various funds to determine how best to support your entrepreneurial projects. More importantly, they will follow up on you, because the goal is not just to give someone a loan, but to accompany them in their journey to ensure that the funds are used effectively. ASBOVIC will coordinate with all relevant structures to provide support and help you become truly independent. I can only wish you great courage, because you are the most resilient people of our homeland. Continue on this path, and rest assured that we have almost won this fight. We will win. Burkina Faso will be at peace, because that is the price our fallen comrades have paid. We assure you that Burkina will be at peace. You will be able to live with dignity, and our children will grow up in a prosperous Burkina Faso. We promise you that. Have a safe journey back to those who traveled from all corners of Burkina Faso. May God bring you home in peace, safe and sound. And above all, long live our dear homeland. Homeland or death, we shall overcome. Thank you all very much.